Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Mr. Marrero? Mr. Pop?
Here. Make a motion to excuse Mr. Morrow. Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Move on to the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 18th, 2022.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of regular meeting April 18, 2022.
Support.
Is that Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Approval of manifest 2022-09. Scott, did you have any questions?
Nothing for tonight.
I have none as well.
No questions.
Nothing? I had one. Under page 4 of 6, under hydro plant, Lisa.
Okay.
And you might not be able to answer this, but you guys can find out for me. Under maintenance equipment, pike pole floor equipment, 518 and 13 cents. Can you find out what that is?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve manifest 2022-09 in the amount of $357,774.89.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on an agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. We have no one. We're going to move on to communications. Approval special event application annual citywide garage sale. Is that okay if I help you out with this?
Sure.
Unless you want to go ahead?
You know more than I do on that one.
Okay. Everybody knows this happens every year, so they're just, asking to have it. What else was in there?
Rules for temporary signage.
Yeah, I think so. This is an annual thing that we do every year, and it gets a lot of people to come into our community, and they also use other businesses while they are here. Any other questions?
It's a great thing for our community.
Do I have a motion?
I move that the application for the annual citywide garage sale be approved for May 21st, 2022, and that the current sign regulations be modified per the following rules. Temporary signs can be installed starting on Thursday, May 19th, must be removed by 6 p.m. on Sunday, May 22nd. Signs shall not be placed on any permanent signposts, light posts, or utility poles. Temporary signs shall not be allowed on Main Street from 4th Avenue to Railroad Avenue, which includes the Pocket Park. All bump outs, is that Pocket Park, Viking Square?
Yes.
All bump outs and US 2 Main Street intersection. All signs must have address clearly marked on the sign. Violations of these rules will be removed immediately by the police department and will be subject to a littering ticket per the littering ordinance.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Move on to approval special event application. Also want to welcome Mr. Stoltman, our new city manager, and I'll let you take this if you want to.
Sure. From what I understand, this is a yearly thing that they do throughout the summer here, the music in the park. Trish did work with me on getting this one ready. I believe we do close part of Main Street during this, that you'll see in the illustration. We don't see any issue with this, similar to the garage sale. I assume this is something that's great for the community and hoping it's something that we can not only do this, but continue to expand in the future.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that the application be approved.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
And I also want to thank everybody who works on that, Carol Sundstrom and Greg Hunt, that put this together every year. We get a good turnout for it, and appreciate everything they do to keep this going.
They always had a pretty big band come. Do you remember who it was? Did we get them back? Did they get them back? They're not coming back?
They've always had a good turnout. They do a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, it's been,
Yeah.
we see more and more people on Main Street.
There's quite a few on there that draw pretty well. Next Mile is one that pops out at me as a
Yep.
local band with a pretty good following.
Special event application, Dickinson Iron District Health Department. Dan?
So this one I know a little less about. Well, this is a, what is this, a breastfeeding awareness week walk. The proposed walk is August 6th. What is this, around the lake? I apologize, this one I just don't know a lot about. Trish, do you want to fill us in a little bit on this particular walk?
Yep, they go around, it's Strawberry Lake Park. They go around the walking path.
And this is also a yearly
Yep.
event.
6th annual, or,
Yeah.
yeah.
If no questions, do I have a motion?
I move that the application be approved.
Support.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
City Hall Network UPS replacement purchase.
So I don't know if you guys have been informed of this prior to tonight or not, but talking to Chris from GoTech, basically what the issue is our backup batteries are no longer functioning for City Hall, and if we do get a power outage, it will go down. So Chris has 2 quotes for us. Again, I understand we'd like to get more than 2. The issue is what is in stock as of when he gave this to me last week. These 2 were in stock. Most of ours are the Eaton brand. There's, this isn't something I think we can necessarily wait on. If we lose our system, it's not going to be good for anyone to do any sort of work. I have not checked with him as of a couple of days ago. I do recommend going with his recommendation of Eaton, but we may want to put the not to exceed at $2,700 in case the Eaton is found to be out of stock.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Silly question, number 1 for you. UPS,
It's basically a giant battery pack.
utility power supply, or?
I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what the abbreviation is, but you ever see them, they get smaller ones for like your personal computers.
Yeah.
But it's just a very large,
Large battery, okay.
a very utility power.
Power supply,
system
that's,
upgrade.
okay. That's what I
And our backup
made it
goes
sound
there,
like.
so.
Yeah, we discussed this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, maybe several months ago. So
Yes.
I knew this was coming.
Yes. Do I have a motion?
I recommend that the purchase of Eaton UPS for an amount not to exceed $2,700 be approved.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
USGS stream gauge agreement.
So this is something that I'm not terribly familiar with. Again, talking to former manager Anderson, this is something that we have to do as part of our FERC license. I was mistaken in the amount. It did go up 2%, so 16,000 opposed to the previous year's 15,700. I don't believe this is something that we can choose not to do.
We cannot.
Again, I'm not very well versed, but according to Mr. Anderson, this is something that we need to approve.
Right. Yeah, this is something that we don't have a choice, and it evaluates, obviously, the water going through. So we don't have a choice on this one. Do I have a motion? And I believe this is also a yearly,
It is.
we do this on a yearly basis, so we've seen this before.
I make a motion that this agreement between the city and USGS be presented.
The amount.
Of $25,826.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Who seconded that?
Pop.
Resolution 2022-15, City of Norway pay rate, non-union.
So, this is, you guys already approved this. You approved it on a resolution number that had previously been approved for a different resolution. So simply, this is the same resolution as you saw previously, but you have to rescind the 2022-7 from April 4th meeting, and then reapprove the new resolution for the same wage as 2022-15, if that came off, made any sense to anybody.
Yes. Do it in two different motions.
Yep.
We just want to make sure that we're rescinding resolution 2022-07 from April 4th. Because we don't want to rescind the
Dash 076 or 07?
actual 2022.
The 7.6 is the motion number.
Okay, the
So,
same motion number.
Yeah, you want to, yeah, we're
It's not-
rescinding the,
It's not 7.6 though. It's 07.
It's 07, yeah.
No.
that's the resolution number. There was a, in this, it says rescind motion, that's, I think there was a 22-076.
Yeah.
The motion number, not the, I looked at that too, I assumed that meant you guys must number your motions?
No,
No? Okay.
no, no.
then-
It's the resolution number, so it's gotta be the
Yep.
22-07, so rescind
Okay,
that.
Yep, so on that memo.
So if we change the third word there from motion to resolution, then make sure it's 2207?
Yeah,
That
if you
cleans
look
it
at,
up?
if you look at this one here.
Oh, okay.
That one will have the correct rescinding of resolution 2022-07 from April 4th, 2022. And then a second motion to approve resolution 2022-15 of the Norway pay rates for non-union.
Gotcha.
Two separate ones, Rico.
Yep. I'll move that the council rescinds resolution 2022-07 from the April 4th, 2022 meeting.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
I move that the council approves resolution 2022-15 for the city of Norway pay rates non-union.
Support.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Let's see here. Move on to approval WPPI Energy Rebate Program Contract. Mr. Stoltman.
Well, I mean, there's no one better here than the man in the audience. If you want to kind of just go over this for them, you know better than I do.
Welcome, Mr. Roberts.
And I will
Thank
just
you.
say, Mr. Anderson also agreed that approval of this is necessary.
Yeah, I'll just identify myself. I'm Jesse Roberts, WPPI Energy, Services Representative here for Norway. And just do a quick little clarification. So with the sunsetting of the Efficiency United program that you had been part of in the past, that ended at the end of December 2021, This is a solution to keep something going for all of the citizens of Norway here, whether it's a residential or commercial business. The whole idea here was to reduce what the customers of the electric department pay into the program from 2% down to 1.5% to control costs a little better and to keep things in-house. So the idea here is program will be with WPPI Energy, and we were going to be outsourcing to Michigan Energy Options, which was consensus chosen by all the Michigan members, part of WPPI Energy. With that, the costs are stated in the contract as it is, and it will just be a regular billing cycle that will come through, and WPPI Energy will be the supporting cast behind the scenes here.
I'd just like to make a comment that, actually, the, cost went down from the previous contract. We were at 2%, now it's down to 1.5%. If there's no other questions, do I have a motion?
I recommend approving the agreement between the city and WPPI as presented.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes?
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Menigini,
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Move on to guard lock diving inspection hydro plant.
So, we all know that Scott is in Jordan, and he took the time out of his day to give us a call and write up a memo and recommendation for this project. Again, it's my understanding that we are doing some engineering on our guard locks. I presume you guys are all aware of that. And if you just look at, Scott's memo, they've attempted to inspect that with cameras unsuccessfully and are now recommending going with divers as well as some additional funds to GEI to be present during that. He did get I believe he has three bids for the dive, and he is recommending the UCC contractors as well as the additional funding for GEI. This is a project that we have currently ongoing, and this is something that we need to inspect, and they've been unsuccessful. I think there's really not much of an option here. He is available to call right now at probably about 3:30 or so in the morning in Jordan if you want to talk to him.
No.
But I don't think it's necessary.
We're not gonna do that.
I just can't remember if this was a budgeted item.
This was, I don't believe this was. Again, according to Scott and looking at it, the budget I don't think is going to be negatively impacted by this particular item. And if we're in it already, it's,
Yeah.
we'll have to eat it, but
It wasn't
It's-
budgeted for, because
It
we,
As I said, it was budgeted, but.
it was not.
Weren't you in an electrical project? That's where the.
there's a lot of different things.
That we're not gonna be able to do this year,
Okay.
because we can't get the materials.
Yep.
The one out of,
Oh, well, man,
yeah, the District 5, that was a lot of money that we're not spending this year.
And I would assume, Grant, you can tell me if I'm wrong, you probably need two motions. These are two separate companies. Underwater Construction Corporation for the 13-1, and then GEI to the 1700 for the assistance in engineering while they're doing the dive.
That'd be appropriate.
Do I have a motion on the first one, please?
I make a motion that the contracting with UCC for the dive at a price not to exceed the amount of $13,100.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Menigini,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes.
I'll also make a motion for the funding for GEI for $1,700 for the same project.
Support.
Mr. Menigini,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Do they have a time scheduled for that tentatively? A day?
For the dive?
Yeah.
Yeah, so looking at, I don't know the exact date, we're looking at doing it on a Saturday, because they'll
Yes,
have to
so
shut
we're,
it down.
yeah, so we don't have to pay the demand charge.
Gotcha.
Right, so.
And I don't know if it said the exact date, but I remember
I'll have
them
to talk to
saying,
Scott, 'cause we should probably notice that
but it did say a
it
Saturday.
did say Saturday.
Cause we could, it would really be expensive, cause they gotta shut it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he might have said that just talking to us over the phone. We
No, it was
discussed
it was in here.
Okay.
I read it, cause I was wondering the same thing and he
Yeah,
had it in
so
there.
I'll talk to him and get that scheduled so we can notify, everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but they're talking about, a Saturday, and if they have to, a Sunday.
I just think that would be a pretty unique opportunity to get eyes on the scale and scope of what they're dealing, you know, as the junior council person here. It might be neat for me,
Do a field trip?
obviously, making sure I'm not, getting in anyone's way.
Throw you some
Right.
flippers on and.
No, that's not,
Yeah, no,
cannonball.
Sure, we could, once we schedule
Yeah,
that, I
just
guess anybody that.
shoot me a heads
yeah,
up.
we
just
can
shoot
do
us
that.
and
Yeah.
let us know.
Especially,
One question about that, was TCR actually involved at all on the backside of the hydro when they do the inspection for cracks and, resurfacing of the hydro?
That I can't.
On this?
Well, they haven't done it,
No,
and I'm curious if this would be a good time for them to participate, to get an inspection of the backside of the hydro.
yeah, cause I don't know what kind of pictures they're gonna get either, if they're not getting
That's what I mean,
pictures.
if there's any big cracks or whatever that TCR might have to address in the future, it might be worth a contact to someone that does that.
Yeah, wanna contact TCR.
Yes, I'll have to just, I'm assuming if I
can
talk to Scott and
about
say
it.
TCR, he's gonna know what I'm talking about.
Yes, he
Yes.
does all our
Okay.
cement work down
Okay.
there, patching the holes and
Okay.
leaks.
that's a great point. Thank you.
They're gonna dive it.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, they're gonna dive it.
Well, they might
Yeah.
not need to be there because you're not gonna see it per se, but he might wanna see the
He's
pictures.
got a live camera.
Right.
Say, hey, shoot,
Yeah.
bring it back down to him, hey, go back over that track or something, let me see.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna use a camera.
I don't think they already tried that
Yeah.
camera thing and it didn't
They're
work.
doing
That's
a
why we have to do the
physical
dive. They already
inspection.
tried,
Yeah, just an idea, right? If-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
maybe
talk to
that's something
Scott.
they can work together on, I'm not sure.
Brian.
cause that's why we're going to the dive now
It's
because of
it's a
that.
good ask.
Alright,
Because I know that the backside of the hydro does have a significant crack that we've talked about in the past. Maybe we can determine how bad that really is.
right, that's a good idea. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. And we have none. We'll move on to mayor council comments. Scott?
I just have to say, welcome to the first council meeting.
Thank you.
Mr. Goldman, best of luck in everything that you got going on.
Thanks.
Brett?
Thank you.
Rico?
No comments?
No comments? I also, best of luck, and we're looking forward to working with you, Dan. So, if you need anything, we're all here, so just let us know.
Awesome.
Did you have any comments?
Me?
Yeah.
Just, it's week 1 down. So far, so good. A lot of information that first week. Ray obviously was very helpful in showing me what's going on. I'll have to revisit pretty much all that because it all kind of came as a wave. And I'll be talking to Ray this week about specific things that we're going to have him kind of continue to help us with. And I'm glad to be here and glad to be in this first meeting. And I'm excited to work with all of you in the community and do some good things.
Great. Did you have anything? Brent?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right. Girls, anything? No? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn. Support.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes. Yeah.
We're good, yeah.